Hey guys, it's your old pal Alice Cooper. Basically, this is Spooktacular. So you're gonna be seeing a bunch of horror movies that have a Halloween theme to it. Look for it all this month.
A Nightmare on Elm Street. The Dream Child. It's a boy. So anyway, so let's go ahead and delve into the plot, okay? So, taking place almost a year after the Dream Master, Alice and Dan have now started dating, and there is no sign of Freddy Krueger. One day, while in the shower, she sees herself at a strange asylum. As she walks, she finds that she is dressed in a nun's outfit with a name tag saying Amanda Krueger. She is then attacked by the patient of the hospital, but wakes up before anything happens. Incidentally, one of the rapists is Freddy Krueger himself, Rob Englund. So what can I tell you? So anyway, the next day, Alice is graduating from high school alongside her new friends, consisting of Greta, an inspiring supermodel, Mark, a comic book geek, and Yvonne, a candy stripper who is also a swimmer. She only confides her nightmare to Dan after she tells her about a trip to Europe. He tells her that she is in control of her dreams and she goes to work. Incidentally, he tells her, if you're not afraid of him, he can't hurt us, right? So, while on the way to work, incidentally, I want to go ahead and mention that in the previous film, uh, she's now she's now the main character of the movie. But I want to go ahead and mention that Kristen in the previous movie is a different actress from the one that's in part three. Uh, I think her name is Arquette something or other, and the next one is last name is Knight, Kinht. Different actress. It's a little bit of trivia, you might say. So anyway, in the previous movie, there's a scene where she sees her much older self in a dream, and she says, "Come on, honey, I don't want to be here forever." And then Freddy comes up and he says, "If the service won't kill you, the food will." And there's this pizza that has these bunch of heads on it, and he says, uh, "Gotta have some soul food" or something like that to that extent. So anyway, Alice finds herself. Let's see. Well, on her way to work, Alice finds herself back at the asylum, where she witnesses Amanda giving birth to a gruesomely deformed, Freddy-looking baby. I want to go ahead and mention that doesn't make any sense at all, because Freddy doesn't become, you know, the monster version of himself until he gets killed. So that doesn't make any sense at all. Amanda tries to collect the baby before it escapes, but it sneaks out of the operating room, and Alice follows it into the same church where he was defeated in the previous film. The baby finds Freddy's remains and quickly grows into an adult. And then he has his arms folded, and he says, "It's a boy." Actually, it's one of the better parts of the movie. Hinting to Alice that he's found the key to coming back before waking her up. Incidentally, it points to her stomach, and it becomes an important part of the plot later because this is the dream child. Uh, Alarmed, she contacts Dan, who leads the pool party. He falls asleep en route and is attacked by Freddy, who sends him back to the pool. Leaving again, he finds a motorcycle where he uses to get to Alice. Freddy possesses the bike and injects Dan with wires, kills him with fuel, and electrocutes him, turning him into a frightful creature before veering him into an ongoing traffic. Let me go ahead and say that this is actually one of the cooler parts of the movie where he says you got the need for speed. It's cool, by the way. You get to see his skull, and he's basically on fire riding around on that motorcycle, which is kind of cool, I guess. Hearing the explosion of Dan's vehicle impacting with a semi-truck, Alice runs out and sees his body come to life and taunt her before she passes out, incidentally saying, "Hey, Alice, want to make babies?" Walking in the hospital, she has to take the news of Dan's death, and she's pregnant with his child. Incidentally, it's little Jacob, who becomes important to the story much later on. In the night, she is visited by a young boy named Jacob. But the next day, Yvonne tells her that no children are on the floor, nor there is a children's ward that he could have wandered from there earlier. So let's see. Alice tells her friends about Freddy and his lineage, but Yvonne refuses to hear it, while Mark and Greta are more supportive, telling her that Freddy would need to go through them to get to her, which is what Alice claims she is afraid of the most. That afternoon, the dinner party her mother is throwing, Greta falls asleep at the table. She snaps at her mother, going on a rant over her controlling nature before Freddy arrives and literally forces Greta to eat herself alive before choking her in front of a laughing audience. And she says, this is actually one of the funnier parts, when she says, why don't I go ahead and eat the whole freaking table? And Freddy has his hat on, his chef's hat on, and he has this tray with food on it, and he says, "Bon appetit, biatch." Can't say that for word, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a word that Steady Freslot says a lot. Just say it starts with a B. Basically, it's the only word in his vocabulary. You know what I'm talking about. So let's see. Yvonne and Alice visit Mark, who is grieving Greta's death, and the rift forms between her and them. Mark falls asleep next and is nearly killed by Freddy's house. But Alice comes in and saves him at the last minute before seeing Jacob again. Jacob hints that she is his mother, but he flees before she wakes up. She requests that Yvonne give her an early ultrasound and discovers that Freddy is feeding Jacob his victims to make him like himself. Incidentally, this is the part where he says, soul food for my boy. Okay. It's kind of funny, I guess. Yvonne still believes that Alice is behaving like a crazy woman. She doesn't even believe Mark when he insists Alice is right. And she angrily leaves. Dan's parents also believe that Alice is being delusional and insist that she give them the baby and let them raise it as their own child. Despite Alice refusing the offer, Mrs. Jordan then threatens her that they take the baby anyway. But Alice's father stands up for her. Alice and Mark go to the place to research Krueger and the nun Amanda. Realizing that Amanda was trying to stop Freddy, they investigate her last known whereabouts, and Alice goes to sleep, hoping to find Amanda at the asylum. While there, Freddy lures her away from the asylum by threatening Yvonne, who has fallen asleep in a jacuzzi. Alice rescues her, and Yvonne finally believes Alice. Meanwhile, Mark falls asleep and is pulled into a comic book world. He unlocks the power of his comic book superhero, the Phantom Prowler, and appears to kill Freddy. He then rebounds as Super Jason. Excuse me, Super Freddy. And it's funny because he has this line, this great series of lines with that particular part where he's a superhero and supervillain actually, and faster than 100 maniacs, and it's Super Freddy. Okay, who then rebounds and slashes Mark apart like a paper doll, imploring Yvonne go to the asylum to find Amanda's remains. Let's go ahead and mention in that previous scene he says, "I told you comic books were bad for you." Okay, so Alice is forced to return home. She goes to bed in order to find Freddy and save her son. She is let into an MC Escher's type maze before she can finally draws Freddy out from within herself. Meanwhile, Yvonne finds Amanda's remains and she joins the fight in a dream world, encouraging Jacob to use the power that Freddy had been giving him. Jacob manages to destroy Freddy and his infant form absorbed by his mother while Alice picks up a baby Jacob. Warning Alice away, Amanda narrowly manages to seal Freddy away in time. And coincidentally, tries to escape from Amanda's womb, saying, "Let me out! Let me out! Let me out!" And then the doors slam, and that's it. So several months later, Jacob Daniel Johnson is enjoying a picnic with his mom, grandmother, and Yvonne. As the camera pulls away, the familiar song of Freddy's theme can be heard being hummed by children jumping rope. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, he's back again. And then the credits roll, basically. So, what can I tell you about this particular movie? It's actually not anywhere near as good as the first two. Of the first 5, it's actually one of the worst, actually. But it's still, I do still recommend it though.
A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child is popcorn balls and gum.
So anyway, wrapping this up, it's an enjoyable movie for Halloween. I recommend it, but not as much as I do the number 3 or number 1. At least it's not as bad as number 2. Gosh, that movie is terrible. But anyway, go ahead and hit subscribe. Watch some more videos. Leave thumbs up. Support the channel. Go ahead and hit, like I said, let's go ahead and leave a comment below. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.